So welcome back dear students, quick revision magnetic effects of electric current. Force acting on a current carrying conductor placed in an external magnetic field. See, we have Lorentz force F is equal to QVB sine theta or Q into V cross B. Then if we take Q by T, then V into T, B sine theta, that means Q by T is I, V into T is length and B sine theta. So this is force or F is equal to I into L cross B, where L is the current element. So this is the vector form of force. So force acting on a current carrying conductor placed in an external magnetic field, it can be done by a U-shaped magnet. This is the theory. Inside a U-shaped magnet, this is north pole and this is south pole. Then magnetic field lines are uniform and a conductor is really suspended here, conductor of length AB. Then a current is allowed to pass through the straight line conductor. When the switch is on, then current flows through this conductor, then a force is experienced. This force is ILB sine theta, where L is the length of the current element, that is AB, and B is the magnetic field. So this is the force acting on a current carrying conductor placed in an external magnetic field. Next, force between two parallel current carrying conductors. Say two conductors 1 and 2 are placed at a distance d, then magnetic field due to the first conductor. I1 is the current flowing through the conductor which is upward direction, and I2 is the second conductor which is also in the upward direction. The magnetic field developed in the first conductor is like this, where B1 is into the plane. B1 is into the plane here, because using right hand thumb rule, magnetic field due to the first conductor is here, it is into the plane, and here it is out of the plane. Due to the second one, to the right of the conductor, field is into the plane, and to the left it is out of the plane. So here B1 out of the plane. So these are the magnetic fields. So force at the midpoint of the conductor is B1 into the plane and B2 out of the plane. These two fields are opposite in direction. Opposite field lines means they attract each other. So when two parallel conductors are placed such that their currents are in along the same direction, then they will attract each other. If the currents are opposite direction, then they will repel each other. Then how will you write the equation for force? So force, we have F is equal to I into L cross B. Here length of the conductor and magnetic field are perpendicular to each other. So force can be written as ILB. In the first conductor, F1 is equal to I1. Current through the first conductor is I1. Length of the conductors are same, so L is taken. Then B. Force experienced on the first conductor is due to the magnetic field of the second conductor. So this is the external magnetic field. Force acting on a current carrying conductor placed in an external magnetic field. For the first conductor, external field is B2. So it can be written as I1L. What is B2? Magnetic field due to the infinitely long straight wire at its midpoint, that is mu 0 I2 by 2 pi r, if this is the distance r. Then F1 is equal to mu 0 I1 I2 L by 2 pi r. And similarly F2 is equal to I2 L B1, where B1 is the external magnetic field, which can be written as mu 0 I1 by 2 pi r. Then F2 is also mu 0 I1 I2 L by 2 pi r. So force on the both conductors are same. Then force per unit length is equal to mu 0 I1 I2 by 2 pi r. So this is the force between two conductors. When the current in the conductors are along the same direction, then they will attract each other, and if the currents are in the opposite direction, then they will repel each other. Okay, let us solve a problem from this session. three parallel conductors A, B and C. B is equidistant to A and B and which carries 1 ampere, 2 ampere and 3 ampere currents respectively, and their directions are also given. These are the options. Let us see the force between first two conductors A and B, FAB, that's equal to mu 0 I1 I2 by 2 pi r. I1 is 1 into I2 is 2 by 2 pi, distance between them is taken as r. Then FBC is equal to mu 0 I1 is 2 here and I2 3 by 2 pi r, and this two force between these two conductors is FAC, that's equal to mu 0 into 1 into 3 by 2 pi into distance between these two is 2r. So this is mu 0, 3 mu 0 by 4 pi r, and this is 3 mu 0 by pi r, and this is mu 0 by pi r. Force between these two, or because of the currents are opposite, then the force is repulsion or repulsive. This is also repulsive, but force between these two is attractive. Okay, then what happens? FBC greater than FAB greater than FAC. So force of repulsion between BC is greater than force of repulsion between AB, and FAC is a very feeble force because distance is very large. Repulsion between BC is greater than repulsion between AB. That means the conductor B will move towards A. So option D, B moves towards A. Next, torque acting on a rectangular wire frame of length L and breadth B placed in an external magnetic field. Let us consider a rectangular wire frame of length L and breadth B in which a current I ampere flows in the anti-clockwise direction. So this is the current. Here a uniform magnetic field B is introduced. So this is the direction of magnetic field, uniform field. So this is magnetic field B. Then P, Q, R and S are the sides of the rectangular wire frame. Force on PQ is I into ILB sin theta is the general equation. Here length is B, so IBB sin theta is the angle between current element and magnetic field. Here length of the current element and magnetic field are parallel, so theta is 0, sin 0 is 0, therefore FPQ is equal to 0. Force due to QR, FQR is equal to ILB sin angle between length of the conductor and B is 90 degree, so here it is ILB, sin 90 is 1. Next FRS is equal to IBB sin angle between current element and magnetic field is 180 degree, sin 180 is 0, therefore force is 0. And finally FSP is equal to ILB into sin angle between current element and magnetic field is 90 degree, hence it is ILB. So these two forces exist, FQR and FSP. These two forces constitute a coupled force is called torque. By Fleming's left hand rule, forefinger represents the direction of magnetic field, middle finger represents the direction of current, then thumb represents the direction of force. So due to this QR current element, force is into the plane, that is FQR into the plane here. And force on SP is out of the plane. This is F out of the plane, FSP out of the plane, because here magnetic field is towards right, current in the downward direction, then force will be out of the plane. Two equal and opposite forces acting in opposite direction constitute a couple, then that couple is called torque. Torque is equal to force into perpendicular distance. So one of the force is ILB, right? Into perpendicular distance between these two forces is simply breadth of the conductor, hence it is IL into B is A, hence torque is equal to IAB. For n turns of the loop, tau is equal to NIAB. So this is the torque acting on a current carrying rectangular wire frame placed in an external magnetic field. Okay, let us consider the rectangular wire frame is turned at an angle theta with the direction of the magnetic field. Then what will be the torque? This concept is introduced here. The rectangular wire frame is turned through an angle theta, then torque tau is equal to force, one of the force into perpendicular distance. Here the perpendicular distance, at this point one force is like this and this force is, another force is like this. So these two forces constitute a couple, then perpendicular distance between the forces is taken as like this. If this angle is theta, then opposite side of this triangle RSN is the perpendicular distance, then SR, breadth of the rectangle, is taken as hypotenuse, then Rn by SR is equal to sine theta. So Rn is equal to B sine theta, because SR is breadth of the rectangular wire frame. So this is the perpendicular distance. Then the force is ILB into perpendicular distance B sine theta, then tau is equal to IAB sine theta. For n turns of the loop, it is NIAB sine theta. So this is the general equation actually. When theta is equal to 90 degree, then tau max is equal to NIAB. Theta is equal to 90 degree. Maximum torque is obtained. Okay. So here we have to consider two concepts. When the plane of the loop is parallel to the magnetic field, this is the plane of the loop, it is parallel to the magnetic field, then torque will be maximum. Or due to this torque, the rectangular wire frame will turn like this. Now the magnetic field is perpendicular to plane of the loop, then torque will be minimum. So here we have to consider the angle theta as the angle between area normal of the rectangular wire frame and magnetic field. So B dot A. So B dot A is BA cos theta. So here theta is the angle between magnetic field vector and area vector. When theta becomes 0, that means the torque is 0, because sine 0 is 0. Okay. Plane of the loop is perpendicular, but the angle between area normal and magnetic field is 0, then torque is minimum. So plane of the loop is parallel to the magnetic field, means area normal is perpendicular to the magnetic field, then torque is maximum. Next is moving coil galvanometer. MCG is a device used to measure both magnitude and direction of very feeble current by deflection method. In MCG, cylindrical magnetic pole pieces are used to provide radial magnetic field, so that the rectangular wire frame of n turns is always perpendicular to the magnetic field, so that the maximum torque is obtained. A phosphor bronze string and phosphor bronze hairspring is used to get maximum restoring torque. So when a source of current is connected between the terminals T1 and T2, then current flows through the rectangular wire frame and a magnetic field is developed. The strength of the magnetic field increased by placing a soft iron core inside the rectangular wire frame. The magnetic field due to the rectangular wire frame interact with the magnetic field due to the magnetic pole pieces, so that the deflection takes place. This deflection is measured in the Lamban scale arrangement using the reflected light from the mirror strip. So these are the parts of MCG. Hence Torque developed due to the current carrying rectangular wire frame is NIAB. This is equation number 1, and it deflects towards this direction. Then Foster-Brown string and hairspring produces the restoring torque in the opposite direction. Restoring torque is directly proportional to deflection on the meter scale. So tau proportional to theta. So tau is equal to c theta, where c is a constant called couple per unit twist or torsion constant. This is equation number 2. Equating these two, we will get c theta is equal to NIAB, or theta by I is equal to NAB by C. This is called current sensitivity SI. Then voltage sensitivity SV is equal to deflection per voltage, that is theta by IR, that's equal to SI by R, or NAB by CR. So this is voltage sensitivity. This is a highly sensitive device. It measures current in the microampere range. So what is the figure of merit of MCG? Figure of merit of MCG is the current required to produce 1 millimeter deflection on the meter scale placed at a distance of 1 meter in front of the mirror strip of MCG. So a lamp and scale arrangement is used there. Say in the scale, 1 millimeter deflection is provided by a current of 1 microampere, so that figure of merit of MCG is 1 microampere per millimeter. This is the standard value of the figure of merit of MCG. Conversion of galvanometer to ammeter. This is a galvanometer which can read a current Ig. It is converted to an ammeter so that it can read a current I ampere which is greater than that of Ig. Ig is always in microampere range. We have already studied about this. Then a parallel resistance, a very low resistance, is connected in parallel to the galvanometer so as to convert the galvanometer to ammeter. Then potential difference across this end. So PD across G is equal to PD across S. This resistance is called shunt resistance because it shunts the current towards this direction. So the current in this direction is I minus Ig. The shunt resistance should be less than that of galvanometer resistance so that maximum current flows through the shunt resistance. Then PD across G is IgG, current into resistance, that's equal to I minus Ig into S. So shunt resistance required to convert a galvanometer to ammeter is S is equal to IgG divided by I minus Ig. If a galvanometer is converted to ammeter so as to measure the current n times that of Ig, then we can substitute I is equal to n times Ig. Then S is equal to IgG divided by Nig minus Ig, that's equal to G by n minus 1. Second conversion of galvanometer to voltmeter. A galvanometer reads a current Ig ampere. Then a high resistance R is connected in series with the galvanometer. Hence, this combination now works as a voltmeter. So this is the voltmeter. The voltage V is equal to Ig into R plus G because it is the series combination of resistors just added. Then what is the value of R? R is equal to V by Ig minus G. So this is the value of resistance required to convert a galvanometer to a voltmeter. How will you convert an ammeter to a voltmeter? See, this is an ammeter of resistance Ra, holds a current Ia, that is ammeter current. If you connect a very large resistance here, is R, then ammeter is converted as a voltmeter. So this is the voltage across the ammeter. Ia current, the same current Ia flows through the circuit. So that V is equal to Ia into R plus Ra. So R is equal to V by IA minus RI. Here it is ammeter resistance. Here it is a resistance required to convert the ammeter to voltmeter. R is equal to V by IA minus RI, where IA is the ammeter current. The same equation is obtained. Next, conversion of voltmeter to ammeter. So this is the resistance RV, voltmeter resistance RV, in which IV current flows. Then you have to convert it to measure an ammeter current of I. Then a parallel resistance is connected here, S, where S is less than RV. Then the current flowing through this parallel resistance is I minus IV. Then I minus IV into S is equal to IV RV. Then S is equal to IV RV divided by I minus IV. So the same equations are obtained. A voltmeter can be converted to ammeter and an ammeter can be converted to voltmeter. Okay.